9 o'clock, time for Daybreak Plus on WGRZ Plus. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning, which is also, you can tell by the Earth.
The third rock from the sun, as they call it.
It is Third Rock Day?
Third Rock Day.
All right, we'll call it that. It's Earth Day, and even more importantly, weather-wise, it's not nearly as active a day as it was yesterday.
So what were you doing like at 5:30 last night or yesterday?
I was watching my cat run all over the place going, what is that noise? Yeah, I was at home just watching the torrential downpour, wondering what those noises were coming from different parts of the houses, because it wasn't only the fact that we had a lot of rain, it was windy too.
Windy, the skies opened up. All the while, Dan Russell was working last night, and he was covering a tornado warning in Cattaraugus County while the downpours were happening in Buffalo.
Yeah, and
it was kind of crazy.
The after effects are still there right now. That stretch of Grand Island Boulevard, which runs right in front of Sheridan Park, if you're familiar with that, that's still closed because of flooding.
Yeah, it was
leftovers.
Yeah, the north towns got more than the south towns and more than Buffalo, well over an inch of rain. So yeah, it was nuts. A lot quieter today on this Earth Day. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. But as we zoom in, you can see that skies are clearing. So we're dealing with a pretty nice day today, although cooler. 50s today, low 50s versus the low 70s that we had yesterday. So around 53 today with a few passing clouds. Tonight, 40 tomorrow. A mix of clouds and sun, 64. So we're going to add about 10 degrees and then maybe 10 degrees more on Thursday. Okay. This system here is kind of falling apart. We'll see an increase in clouds from it, maybe at times tomorrow. But again, we should have a dry stretch. Future look kind of confirms that. Temperatures climbing into the low 50s. Overnight tonight, we're going to see numbers fall into the 30s and 40s. And then tomorrow, see a little more cloud cover, but numbers close to 60 at noon. We get into the low 60s tomorrow, and then warmer still come Thursday with 70s coming back. So 53, that's kind of a popular number today. There will be a breeze, a westerly wind 10 to 20, so you'll feel that, especially in the shade. It may feel a little cool. Mid 60s tomorrow. So skies mostly sunny, a westerly wind 10 to 20 miles an hour. And then for tonight, mainly clear, 39 to 40 long range forecast. Thursday, good. Friday, mid 70s, but clouds thicken. Rain comes, it looks like right now, Friday late in the day, Friday night, but hopefully the rain is on the move. Saturday, still a chance of some showers in the morning, but hopefully it pushes out by the afternoon. And then 50s on Sunday. Sunday looks really nice. And then, you know what? I got to go this way. You know why? I've got to have a copy. Oh, I'm not talking. I'm not. Oh.
That's all right.
You know what?
Enjoy your
The producer reminded me of this like 5 times, and I still did it. Okay.
Enjoy your coffee.
Okay, I'll join you in a second. Have fun.
All right, very good. Thank you, Patrick. Well, it has been more than 24 hours since the world learned of the passing of Pope Francis. And this morning, people are still reflecting, remembering his legacy, and the iconic Eiffel Tower, as you see there on the right, usually lighting up the skies of Paris, has gone dark in remembrance of Pope Francis. Meanwhile, on the left there, the Empire State Building is switching to gold and white tonight to honor his life and legacy. And as Catholics around the world continue to mourn, the Vatican announced this morning that the Pope's funeral will be held on Saturday. They've also released his official cause of death as Vatican officials start the ancient rites for a man who led the church into the modern era. And as the world looks ahead, cardinals are preparing for the conclave that will elect the next pope. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
As tributes pour in for the people's pope who led the Catholic Church toward a more progressive path.
Pope Francis had a way of getting the church to think outside the box.
Centuries-old traditions are underway. While the faithful mourn, cardinals are at the Vatican going through details of the funeral, their first meeting since Pope Francis's death at 88, caused, the Vatican says, by a stroke and heart failure. President Trump preparing to attend the funeral in the coming days.
He was a good man, worked hard, He loved the world.
Though as dignitaries descend, Pope Francis is being remembered most for his devotion to the least among us.
He is the Pope of the poor, the Pope of the marginalized, underprivileged.
With a heart for children, Jocelyn Aquino met Pope Francis when she was just 12 years old, greeting him on his one and only visit to the U.S. back in 2015. The daughter of immigrants from El Salvador spoke in Spanish with the first pope from Latin America.
This is the leader of the Catholic Church. This is the most powerful man. And I was just like, wow, you spoke to me in my native language. Like, it was just amazing.
A leader who spoke to so many, even beyond the Catholic Church. He addressed Congress on that trip to Washington, never shying away from voicing his views, from ending the wars in Ukraine and Gaza to advocating for immigrants and moving toward acceptance for the LGBTQ community. Often at odds with traditionalists, he cemented his legacy as a reformer, as cardinals prepare for the conclave to elect his successor and decide the next direction for the Catholic Church. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And as Alice just mentioned, with the Pope's death comes questions about the next steps for the Catholic Church moving forward. Following the Pope's funeral services, the process to select the next Holy Father begins, and our Natalie Foss joins us in studio with more of the details on what's ahead. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Pete. Yeah, lots of questions, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
the last time this happened, it was 12 years ago, 13 years ago,
Right.
so long time. So the cardinals are all coming around from around the globe, and they've started to make their way to the Vatican. Now, they're first going to spend these next few days mourning Pope Francis. Their work that follows is going to shape the direction of the Catholic Church for the years to come, so it's very important. A conclave, or a confidential meeting, of all the cardinals under the age of 80 will take place. The 135 eligible will be locked alone in the Sistine Chapel and will pray to the Holy Spirit to guide them in choosing the next pope. Pope Francis appointed 110 of the cardinals who will participate in the conclave, many coming from areas like Latin America, Oceania, Africa, and Asia, allowing for some speculation that the cardinals may choose a pope that models Pope Francis in a more liberal way. Others think they could flip and choose a more conservative option.
The hope, of course, is that it will not be a matter of politicking, but instead that it is all guided by the Holy Spirit for what best serves the church.
The cardinals will vote 4 times a day, aiming for a 2/3 majority, and they'll send up black smoke for each unsuccessful vote. And then, of course, when they finally choose the next pope, they'll send the white smoke, and the new pope will be presented. Now, this could take a few days or even weeks. There really isn't a deadline. But in 2013, they chose Pope Francis. It only took 2 days. So,
Yeah, which was a real surprise.
Absolutely.
Because previous ones, it's taken several days and a lot of watching for that puff of smoke to come out. But thank you very much for that explainer.
yeah, such an interesting process, right?
Absolutely. All right. Now, what else after the Pope should we talk about but the Buffalo Bills? Yes, the team will be back at One Bills Drive today. It is the second day of voluntary off-season workouts. Take a look at your screen right now. This was posted on the Bills' social media. Keon Coleman, Deion Dawkins, Dalton Kincaid, just some of the players who chose to be there yesterday, and of course Josh Allen as well. Today we will be hearing from Josh Allen along with General Manager Brendan Beane, and they'll talk to the media before the NFL draft starts Thursday night. So stay with Channel 2 for the latest Bills news, both on air and online. All right, so what do you think? What do you think we're going to hear from Josh today? I wish I was golfing.
I mean, he's kind of, he's got a lot going on in his life. I mean, he's, so maybe it's an update on how his, I'm still trying to remember how the Kansas City championship game ended. We had a final drive, right? I remember the year before, but I can't rember our final game.
It ended in a loss.
Okay, maybe there's a little reflection on that.
Yeah.
Of course, his off-season workout plans. Of course, his nuptials that'll be coming up this summer.
It's kind of interesting because it seems like we just finished the Bills season.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the draft yet, and they're already back working out.
I thought that happened in June. I didn't know they came back so early.
Well, and then it does happen in June, and then again in July.
Right.
And it brings up an interesting point. I was talking to a friend about the difference between the NHL offseason and the NFL offseason. And what if the Sabres were to adopt a similar offseason? I mean, obviously they can't because of the collective bargaining agreement in the sports, but Wouldn't that be an interesting dynamic if they had to come back several months and work out through the
off season is so short for the NHL. To think that both seasons start roughly at the same time.
Well,
the NFL season ended months ago, and we're in the playoffs for the NHL right now.
Well, the training camp and preseason, everything is a full month and a half before the NHL comes back. And also, if you make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, the offseason is short.
Yeah, that's true.
For the Sabres, the offseason has not been very short for the last 14 years.
Right.
But what if they had a system where they come back in?
That's interesting.
And the coaching staff can kind of check up on them, and it's something to talk about, whether that would improve things or not. But again, sports contracts can't really do that the way it's.
No, to hear what like the Bills players or any NFL player is allowed to and what not to do during this off-season training program. They can't touch a football. Only certain coaches can be on the field with them. There's like specifics, do's and don'ts in the early season. But I think the NHL would be interesting to have the coaches, check up on these guys maybe halfway through the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and the Bills, they're just days away from the NFL draft. The anticipation is building also for UB football's latest All-American. Sean Dolak has had conversations with more than half the teams in the league leading up to draft weekend. Dolak was a consensual too. Everyone agreed to it. A consensus All-American and MAC Defensive Player of the Year this past season. Yet the linebacker was not invited to any All-Star game, the Senior Bowl, or even an NFL scouting combine.
As a little kid, you want to do all these things. You want to get all these awards, accomplishments. You want to go to Senior Bowl games. You want to go to the combine. And for myself, that's what I wanted as well. But not getting that, it's helped me realize that it doesn't matter, if you go to a combine or if you go to a Senior Bowl game. If you could play football, you could play football, and they're going to find you.
Yeah, they'll find you for sure. Projections vary as to where Dolak might be drafted. Somewhere on day 3 is where most people are picking it, or even still getting picked up as an undrafted free agent. Now, the last time we had this kind of excitement was
Joe Andreessen.
Well, yeah, but even before that, as far as excitement goes and All-American, Khalil Mack.
Oh, that's right.
And Mack did okay for himself.
He sure did.
Yep.
But he's a defensive player. The Bills need defensive help. Could he take a similar path that Andreessen did, maybe walking on kind of like he did and ended up making the team?
You never know. I think the Bills.
I think there's other teams that may grab him before that.
Yeah, I think, he had a heck of a season.
Yeah.
All right, now, speaking of UB, let's switch over to some hoops. The UB women's basketball team is being honored for a historic season. Now, look at that. They, of course, won the women's NIT, and this Friday, actually, UB women's basketball day in the city of Buffalo was yesterday. Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon made that declaration as some members of the team visited City Hall. The mayor also noted the long list of program firsts achieved by this team: the first 30-win season, the first postseason tournament championship, and the first sellout crowd as they packed the house at Alumni Arena for the WNIT final game. The players say the love from the community is mutual.
In my career, I've never had that happen, and I think it just goes to show how much Buffalo loves their sports, and they really, throughout the whole season, it's just been a key determining factor in our wins, and they really had our back through it all, so I'm just grateful that I got to experience that for my career, and Buffalo just does sports different here.
I think I could speak for all of us that I think we're really grateful for the time that we did have together, grateful for our opportunity to compete for a championship and ultimately win it together.
It was kind of interesting because the acting mayor, Chris Scanlon, inadvertently said the 25th, but it was yesterday. So we've also learned that the team's new head coach, alumna Kristen Sharkey, will be formally introduced tomorrow. So some excitement at UB as well. All right, stick around. We're going to be taking a quick break, but we'll be right back. Now, I don't have to remind Patrick of this because he's had his shopping done for weeks. But Mother's Day is just 2 weeks from Sunday, May 11th. And if you're looking for something to do with Mom on that day, well, there's a Mother's Day market coming up. The Niagara Street Mother's Day Market will be setting up shop at Wild Root Floral right on Mother's Day. There will be more than 60 vendors on site selling gifts and even a truck where you could build your own bouquet.
It is all local vendors in addition to all of the beautiful businesses on Niagara Street. There's some new ones like Gold Lion Coffee House since last year. Black Rock Books has joined our corridor on Niagara Street as well. So you can really come and spend some hours building a bouquet with us at Wild Root or shopping any of the local vendors there as well.
And the event is Mother's Day, May 11th from the 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And also, today, this morning doesn't really feel like summer, but we're in the 70s this week, so that's cool. Yeah. So summer's on the way, and you can almost taste it. We're learning that Food Truck Tuesdays will officially return to Larkinville starting June 3rd. That'll run throughout the summer, wrapping up the week before Labor Day. Live at Larkin will also be returning this year on Wednesday nights with musical guests, specialty food and drink. Do you take in any of those things there? I mean, it's tough on our schedule, and especially you live halfway to South America.
Yeah, I do.
In Hamburg.
Hamburg and Buenos Aires, like that close. Was it last year or the year before I took my daughter to Larkinville and we heard an amazing Steely Dan tribute band. They're a local band, but they're also they're a jam band, but they also play. Anyway, it was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it was such a wonderful setting and a great place to hear live music, and it was awesome.
You know, that's one of the things about Western New York, because we have harsh winters and usually crummy springs. Once the summer gets out, people just love. They're in a great mood all the time for these festivals and the little, because there's so much live music outside you can see throughout the summer. It's pretty cool.
It is.
All right, well, Mother Nature rained on yesterday's Dingus Day celebrations here in Buffalo, just like Patrick said it would, but that didn't stop the parade from marching through the Polonia district, nor did it stop those who came to watch and cheer. Here are some of the sights and sounds from Buffalo's parade.
They say Buffalo is the best.
It's great. Our family's here. We've been having such a great time. The food is fantastic. It's been nonstop polka.
Who stole the quiche? Go on.
I think this is more the true Dingus Day experience, though. This is like really what Buffalo represents with Dingus Day. So.
Party gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
There you go. And after a day of parades, polka and pierogi turned soggy, Dingus Day celebrations were cut short for some parts of Western New York thanks to what you're seeing now. It's pretty nasty weather. This is a time lapse from our Rand cam as the storms just rolled in off of Lake Erie yesterday afternoon, bringing in heavy rain and a tornado watch to parts of Western New York. And Patrick even saw on that what looked like a water spout.
There was, okay, so yes, if you look at that video closely, and there's been another guy that's posted video right there.
Right there.
And it cuts. But there appears to be kind of a slanted funnel that's coming down. I can't tell if it's a true funnel or if it's, sometimes you get these low level, they're called scud clouds that can look like tornadoes when they're really not. But that one, it seemed to be rotating. And we all know what happened when those storms moved from over Lake Erie. It opened up at your house. I mean, it was pouring.
Oh, yeah.
Like 5 to 7. The skies opened. All the while, we had a tornado warned storm down in Cattaraugus County near East Otto yesterday. So yeah, the weather was nuts all at the same time.
Well, it was the rain and the wind, and I was surprised we didn't get any hail in there.
There wasn't the perfect setup for hail. It was, but I will say this. There was a minor risk of a tornado yesterday, actually, and it kind of verified. We don't know if it was an actual tornado, but there was rotation. There was no hail, but lots of some flooding down trees near Jamestown. So yeah, it was kind of a wild spring storm.
Yeah, and if you're in Tonawanda, that stretch of Grand Island Boulevard, which is everyone thinks is the extension of Sheridan Drive over to the Grand Island Bridge, that is still closed as of last check because of flooding there in front of Louis Hot Dogs, if you're familiar with the area. So I figured I'd get a reference that both of us
now
know.
I know where it is.
Hot dogs, yes. All right. Well, today is Earth Day, and if you're looking to get involved, we got plenty of ways to make a difference right here in Western New York. In Erie County, there will be an event tonight at the Northland Workforce Training Center. There will be activities, giveaways, and reuse and recycling opportunities. Now, if you go, you're encouraged to bring gently used sports equipment as well, and also used household batteries so they can go back into the community. So a lot of efforts. But you had brought up at our morning meeting out there, you had brought up an interesting story about the origins of Earth Day.
Well, it started in 1970. Great year year that I was born.
I thought you were referring to my year in kindergarten.
No, yeah, right. In California, where I'm from. So it was April of, and I think the actual oil spill happened in 1969. But what started, they used to drill for oil off the California coastline. They don't anymore. There's still the platforms, but they stopped that. There was a big oil spill off the coast of Santa Barbara. It unfortunately killed a tremendous amount of seabirds and other wildlife. And that kind of prompted the beginnings of Earth Day, which started that subsequent April 1970, and it's been going on ever since.
Yeah, and it hit at a time where activism was at a fever pitch on a lot of fronts, from Vietnam to politics, you name it.
Yeah, and some of the origins were in the Bay Area of San Francisco, and there was, of course, there was a lot of activism during that period in that location.
Really, in San Francisco?
A little bit. So yeah, that's where Earth Day came from.
All right. Well, on this Earth Day, we're looking at not a bad day ahead, but for the next couple of days.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks like between now and I would say Friday afternoon, the weather looks pretty tame and docile. We're going to see a nice warming trend too. Today, a little on the cool side. As you can see, we're only going to see a high today of about 53 degrees or so. But I do think we're going to see a warming trend that begins tomorrow. 39, mainly clear. Still, this is the time of the year still where we can have cool nights. 7-day forecast. Let's go through this. 50s today, 60s tomorrow. A little more cloud cover tomorrow, but dry. 70s on Thursday. There's a slight chance of a shower in Niagara County, but it wasn't enough to put it in just a slight shower. Okay, Friday, though, looks fine. Rain, though, in the late part of the day, Friday afternoon, Friday night into early Saturday, Pete. Saturday morning, there's a chance of some showers, but it should dry out after that, leading to the last weekend of April being pretty good, Saturday afternoon through Sunday. Sunday, 50s, but then we return to 70 to start next week, the last days of April.
Nice, and the Bisons have a Friday night game.
That's the one game in the 6-game or 7-game homestand that's a little risky, weather-wise. Friday night could be a little rainy.
No real washouts in the next several days. That's great.
Looks good. Finally, a dry stretch. Yeah.
Beautiful. We earned it. Thanks very much. And thank you for joining us for Daybreak Plus right here on WGRZ Plus. Have a great day.